If you're feeling lost in life right now, I want you to know that you're not alone. There's something about this exact moment in your life that matters more than you might realize. The feeling of being lost isn't a failure. It's actually a signal. It's your inner compass telling you that something needs to change, and that takes courage to acknowledge. Let me be honest with you. When you're in the thick of it, when you're scrolling through your phone late at night wondering where your life is going, it doesn't feel like courage. It feels like confusion. It feels like everyone around you has figured it out except you. They've got their plans, their direction, their purpose, and you're just here trying to make sense of it all. That comparison trap is real, and it's one of the first things we need to address. The truth is, almost everyone you admire has felt exactly the way you're feeling right now. They've stood in that same confusion. They've doubted themselves. They've looked in the mirror and wondered if they're wasting their potential. The difference isn't that they never felt lost. The difference is what they did when they realized they were. Sometimes being lost is actually the best position you could possibly be in. Think about it. If you were completely satisfied with where you are, if everything felt perfect, you wouldn't be seeking anything better. You wouldn't be growing. You wouldn't be pushing yourself forward. The discomfort you're feeling right now is actually your potential knocking on the door. Here's what I've learned from talking to hundreds of people who've navigated this exact feeling. The journey out of lostness doesn't happen all at once. It's not like you wake up one morning and suddenly everything becomes crystal clear. It's gradual. It's a series of small decisions, small steps, and small moments of clarity that eventually add up to something bigger. The first thing you need to understand is that direction isn't something you find. It's something you build. You build it through exploration. You build it through trying things that interest you, even if they seem small or insignificant. You build it through conversations with people you respect. You build it through reading, learning, failing, and trying again. Start by getting honest with yourself about where you actually are right now. Not where you think you should be, not where everyone expects you to be, but where you actually are. Write it down if you need to. What's working in your life? What's not working? What brings you energy and what drains you? These aren't easy questions, and the answers might surprise you. Once you've got that clarity, the next step is to identify what actually matters to you. Not what you think should matter, not what looks good on social media or impresses your family. What problems in the world do you want to solve? What kind of person do you want to become? What legacy do you want to leave? These questions might feel too big right now, but sit with them anyway. I want to talk about something specific that keeps a lot of people stuck. It's the idea that you need to have everything figured out before you can move forward. You don't. In fact, waiting for perfect clarity is often just procrastination dressed up in philosophical clothing. The path becomes clear as you walk it, not before you start walking. Think about the last time you learned something new. Maybe it was a skill. Maybe it was a language. Maybe it was just how to navigate a new city. You didn't understand it all up front. You learned by doing. You made mistakes. You asked questions. You adjusted. Life direction works the same way. You don't need to see the entire mountain before you take the first step up. What you do need is a direction. Even if it's not perfect, even if it's not your final destination, even if you change your mind later, a direction gives you momentum. It gives you something to aim for. And momentum is what carries you out of the fog. Let me talk about the small decisions that matter most. Every single day, you're making choices about how to spend your time, your energy, and your attention. These choices might seem insignificant in isolation. Choosing to learn something new instead of scrolling. Choosing to reach out to someone instead of isolating. Choosing to take a walk instead of staying in bed. These feel small, but they're not. They're the building blocks of a different life. Your future self is being created right now by the choices you're making today. Not by grand gestures or perfect plans, by the daily accumulation of small decisions that either move you forward or keep you stuck. That's what separates people who find their way from people who stay lost. It's not intelligence, it's not privilege, it's consistency in small things. Here's something that might help you right now. Start experimenting. Give yourself permission to try things without committing to them forever. Want to learn to paint? Try it for a month. Interested in a new field? Take a course. Curious about a lifestyle change? Experiment with it. You're not declaring your entire future with these experiments. You're gathering information about yourself. I want to address the fear that's probably underneath a lot of this lostness. The fear that you're running out of time. The fear that you've already made mistakes that you can't come back from. The fear that everyone else is ahead of you. I'm here to tell you that those fears are lying to you. They're not predictions. They're just fears. You have more time than you think. You're more capable of change than you think. And the people who look like they have it all figured out, most of them are still figuring it out too. They've just gotten better at accepting the uncertainty instead of fighting it. One of the most powerful things you can do right now is find people who are a little bit further along the path you want to walk. Not people who've completely arrived, because those people often forget what it was like to be lost. Find people who are 1 or 2 steps ahead. Learn from them. Ask them questions. Let their experience light your way forward. And just as importantly, be the person for someone else who's feeling lost right now. Share what you're learning, because connection is one of the most underrated tools for finding direction. When you're isolated with your confusion, it feels enormous. When you share it, you realize how universal it actually is. Let me tell you what finding your direction actually looks like. It's not a lightning bolt moment for most people. It's a slow accumulation of evidence. You try things, some of them stick, some of them don't. Gradually, a pattern emerges. You notice that you keep coming back to certain themes. Certain activities make you lose track of time. Certain problems in the world keep nagging at you. That's your direction, revealing itself through your own choices and reactions. The feeling of being lost will pass. It might take weeks, it might take months, it might even take a year or 2, but it will pass. And when you look back on this period of your life, you might realize it was exactly what you needed. You might realize that being lost forced you to get honest. It forced you to stop sleepwalking through your own life. It forced you to make intentional choices instead of defaulting to what's comfortable. Right now, today, I want you to take one small action. Just one. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be grand. It could be as simple as writing down 3 things you're curious about, or reaching out to one person who inspires you, or committing to learning something new this week. Whatever it is, make it something that moves you slightly in a direction that feels true to you. Because that's what this is really about. Not finding some perfect destination, not achieving some specific goal. It's about reconnecting with yourself. It's about trusting your instincts again. It's about taking back agency over your own life. You feel lost because some part of you knows you're capable of more. Some part of you is refusing to accept a life that doesn't align with who you really are. That's not a curse. That's a gift. That restlessness, that confusion, that sense that something needs to change, that's your true self trying to get your attention. So yes, you're lost, but you're also aware. You're also questioning. You're also seeking. And that combination is exactly what it takes to find your way. The path forward isn't about having all the answers. It's about getting comfortable with the questions. It's about taking small steps. It's about being patient with yourself while also pushing yourself forward. You're going to figure this out, not because it's going to be easy, but because you're here, you're thinking about it, and you're willing to change. That willingness is everything. So start today. Take that one small step, and trust that each step after that will become a little bit clearer. Your future self is waiting for you to find your way.